Alright guys, so here we are for episode number 13 of the F1 2014 modded career mode. As you can see, we're in Singapore and we have a intermediate or rain affected practice session. We put in some laps, well only one really, just to get a sider in because we have a 40% chance of rain to occur sometime during the race. So I only did one lap because I wanted to save my tyre sets for the race because the tyre wear is really bad around this track. But anyway, I'm doing a 40k subscriber Q&A very soon, so if you have any comments, or if you have any questions rather, ask me in the comments below and I'll use them for that video. So if you've been wanting to ask me a question for a long time, then I'd suggest ask me in the comments below and I'll get on to doing that very soon. So either way, Singapore, we're heading into qualifying now for what should be a dry session, and it is, at least in Q1. As I said, it's going to be raining in the race at some time during the race, possibly, so we'll need to set up the car to cater for that. So in practice, I just tested some different aero, or not aero, just set up components. I tried running with like high brake pressure and it seemed to work fairly well. So for the most part, I'm going to be running with a fairly dry setup, but for this track especially, I'm going to go with higher aero, like 9.7 wings, so I can not only be quick in the dry, but I think it might help me in the race as well. This is a track that really doesn't, mean anything in terms of straight line speed, so we can get away with really high aero. And the Toro Rosso is fairly understeery as it is, so we can probably get away with a higher downforce setup. But at the end of Q1, we've gone second on a set of prime tyres, and I'm fairly happy with that. Only a 10th behind Nico Rosberg there, our championship rival. Heading into Q2 now, we put on a set of super soft tyres, doing just one run at the end of the session. We'll see how we go, and there we go, setting a 142.9, going second once again, 2 tenths behind Nico Rosberg once again. So the consistency is there, the pace is there, and that's a really good sign as we head into Q3 now. We've got Daniel Kvyat dropping out in Q2 there, unfortunately. So here we go, Q3, wish me luck. Alright guys, so here we are for qualifying 3. We're just going to use the one set of option tyres for this quali session. I'm still a little bit insecure as to how we're going to go in terms of our tyre bank. I'm fast forwarding to the end of the session just so I can do that one run, put on 3 laps of fuel, and then go out for one last blast. And hopefully we should be able to challenge Rosberg for pole. We did a 42.9 in the last session, and we could have improved on that. So fingers crossed, if I can find a little bit more time in this session, we should be able to get pole, hopefully. So that's the plan. Here we go, ready for qualifying 3. 3 laps of fuel, fresh tyres. Wish me luck. Alright lads, this is it. Probably our last chance to get a pole position this season because I really don't rate my chances at most of the tracks coming up. But either way, here we go, starting our lap with only 10 seconds left to go in this session. We're really cutting it fine here, but we're just trying to get our lap in the best possible track conditions so we can potentially get that pole position off Lewis Hamilton now, who has set the fastest time over Nico Rosberg. But anyway, cutting to the middle sector now, we run wide through that fast left-hander, and I think we're just shy of Lewis Hamilton's time by about half a tenth, so we're looking good so far. We really need to make the most out of all of these corners, really using up all the road. There's not a millimeter left of performance that I could use, but we run wide through the hairpin there. That's going to cost me about 1 or 2 tenths there. That's a little bit frustrating, but we use up most of our curves on the exit of that hairpin there, so we can get the most amount of speed coming through this third sector. Now we're 5 tenths down on Lewis Hamilton, so it's not good. We're going to really have to make up all the time through this third sector. This is probably my favorite sector of the entire lap. It always has been. I don't know what it is about Singapore, but I just love this third sector. You just really have to really risk it for a chocolate biscuit. But either way, hitting all the apexes fairly nicely through this third sector, so that's a nice positive. But we really need to make up a lot of time on Hamilton to get pole, but I just don't think we can do it. But coming across the line, we'll see where we end up now. It should at least be in the top 5. And there we go, 5th place. So we made up a 10th on Hamilton in the final sector, but it wasn't enough to get us anywhere near the front row of the grid. But either way, when we lost so much time in the middle sector, I'll take 5th place any day of the week. So here we go, the Singapore Grand Prix. We're starting in 5th place. Wish me luck. Alright, so here we are on the grid of Singapore. This is probably our best chance to get another really good result in this season. And away we go. Very quick build up to the start of this race. And looks like we've got to jump on button there, but the getaway through 2nd, 3rd and 4th as always is terrible. We cut to the inside through turn 1 and we got ourselves up into 2nd. Next up is Hamilton, who goes defensive. We undercut him as well, so we've gone from 5th all the way up to 1st in just a matter of 20 seconds here at the start of this Grand Prix. And this has been absolutely fantastic so far. So now what we've got to do now, lads, is pretty much build this lead while trying to save the tyres at the same time. We're scheduled to stop in at lap 12, and we'll see if we can make that on our recommended strategy. We see Hamilton there breaks early as he was trying to overtake me, and then in doing so, he got in the path of Vettel and took him out, and he lost his front wing there. And look at that, Lewis Hamilton is steering off into the escape road, and so too is Vettel, who I believe retired from the Grand Prix after that. So from what I can see, Hamilton doesn't have any major damage to his car, at least visually. There might be something under the hood that we don't know about, maybe his rear diffuser or something, maybe even his gearbox, but he decided to pull off to the side, retired from the Grand Prix, so did Vettel. As it stands at the moment, there isn't a safety car as we now cut to the end of lap 4. We've got Massa now in 2nd place, Raikkonen into 3rd. We lose the rear end there as I was just completely making a meal out of that hairpin. I completely lost my rhythm after seeing that Hamilton and Vettel retired from the race. Those two are major contenders in this race, and now they're out of it, so our chances of even getting a podium in this race have massively increased. And team radio?
Looking at the radar, it looks like we might have light rain in about 15 minutes.
Okay, so this race has taken another twist, so we've got light rain coming in about 15 minutes time. So what I think I might do here is go into the primes, go for the undercut, because in 15 minutes time, that's around about the time I should be stopping, maybe just after. So I thought, let's go for the undercut here. I might gain some time on the AI with fresh tyres. They'll probably come in for a set of dry tyres in about 6 or 7 laps time anyway. So by the time that they make their stops, I should effectively have the lead of the race. So this should work for us, because I don't think I would have been able to make it to lap 12 anyway with that tyre wear. As you can see, it was brown, almost coming towards red. So I think this has really played into our hands here, and we should be able to really take advantage of this if we can rejoin in some clear traffic. So the pit stop is 3.0 seconds. Fairly good stop there from a Toro Rosso pit crew, but the telling question here is, can we rejoin in clean air? We're going to rejoin just in front of Maldonado, possibly, if we can. No, he's rejoined in front of us. So we're going to get held up by Maldonado here, possibly. We rejoin in front of Gutierrez. I believe I saw a Caterham in front of Maldonado, so that's quite interesting to see that on raw pace, a Caterham has more pace than a Sauber and a Lotus, so that's very interesting. But anyway, cutting to lap 10 now, we've caught up to the back of Maldonado, who's also caught up to the back of Kamui Kobayashi, going defensive into turn 1. Maldonado breaks early, and I just get held up by the Caterham there. He goes clean around the outside, so good move there from him, but that's cost us a little bit of time here. Now, I can't afford to battle with these guys too much, because I'm effectively racing the leaders of the race, who are, you know, relatively in clean air. They've got older tyres though, but their lap times are still decent. The AI are fairly good on their tyres, so I really need to maximize every single lap here that I'm doing on this new set of prime tyres, because by the time that they stop, they should be around about me. So, you know, and if I continue to get held up, they might rejoin in front of me, and then after that, it's pretty much game over if they have clean air and fresher tyres. So this is a really crucial part of the race. I'm still getting held up by this Caterham of Kobayashi. As you saw on the straight there, we just couldn't get past him. We just don't have the straight line speed. And I think that's mainly down to that at high error, I'm running 9.7 wings, so it's proving to be almost impossible to overtake. But in saying that, Kobayashi had a DRS on Maldonado on the previous lap, but we go around the outside of Kamui there, and job done into 15th place. And considering that was a Caterham on old tyres, it was very hard to overtake him. So how hard is it going to be to overtake other cars who are much faster than me? But either way, lap 13, we finally see some cars coming in for their stops, and it looks like for the most part we've jumped most of them. There's a few cars who have rejoined in front of me, including Button, Raikkonen, and a few others. There are about 3 or 4 others who are yet to pit yet, but we'll find out in just a few moments. We see Maldonado going off the track there and losing part of his front wing. That's another position for us. And now lap 14, we've got 3 more runners who have made their stops. And now we can finally see some raindrops coming down, and it's only going to be a matter of time before we switch on to intermediate tyres. Only a couple of minutes. I believe the engineer told me a couple of minutes ago. I missed it on the in finding my raw footage. He said the rain was coming down very heavily, like monsoon-like conditions. So, and look at that. A lap later, you can see it's almost like heavy rain, and the tyres somehow still have temperature to grip in with the road. So at this stage, I'm going to stay out for maybe 1 or 2 more laps longer until the conditions warrant intermediate tyres. And now you can see on the rear tyres there, they're finally starting to go light blue. And look at that, the rain is falling down so much. You would have thought it was intermediate conditions laps ago. But once again, I'm going to go for a bit of a strategy risk here. I'm going to go straight to the wet tyres, because my engineer said that there's pretty much going to be monsoon conditions happening in about 5 or 10 minutes or whatever. So I'm just going to bypass the intermediate tyres altogether and just hope that the rain continues to get worse and worse, and it should benefit us in a couple of minutes time. So we're not going to see any benefits straight away. We might struggle on the first lap or 2, but I think after that we should see the benefits of the wet tyres really starting to shine through. So here we go, pit stop from Toro Rosso. How is it? 3.1 seconds, so not too bad. We rejoined right behind Magnussen, who was a couple seconds up the road. So in actual, in terms of time gain, we've gained quite a bit on Magnussen. So hopefully we should be able to attack him very soon. Rejoining on the track now, we got Raikkonen behind us, who we were battling before us. So we've actually jumped him in the pits in actual fact, but looks like the rear traction is really bad, as the wet tyres just don't have the, I guess, the ideal running temperatures at the moment. I think they're a little bit hot for the current conditions, which is a little bit weird. You would have thought that wet tyres would work in conditions like this, but unfortunately it's just not wet enough at the moment. You can see the front right tyre is overheating a little bit, and we're losing a few positions. But now lap 19, we finally see the conditions are now starting to fall into our hands. I believe we lost about 15 to 20 seconds, which is effectively a pit stop. But now lap 20, we can see most of the runners now opting for a set of wet tyres. And in hindsight, I probably would have gone for the intermediate tyres, because now my wet tyres have sort of lost a little bit of life, and I've not really gained anything, to be honest. So I probably should have just gone for the safe option of going for the intermediates. But either way, it hasn't cost us too much. And on lap 21, we're now trying to overtake Kimi Raikkonen up the inside into the hairpin. He leaves us the room. Job done almost. We're going to need to outdrive him on the traction here. It is so bad right now. The track conditions and just the overall traction is so bad. I can't get to 100% throttle through there until I get to about 4th gear. So that's just how bad it is. The car is just sliding all around over the place. It's a bit hard to see when you're just watching the footage, but when I was driving this at the time, it was absolutely dreadful. I almost thought about quitting at some stage, because 2 hours, this is a 2-hour race. This is the longest race you'll get on the F1 game, or F1 calendar. And when it's raining, the lap times are about 10 seconds slower. So that's going to exaggerate how long this Grand Prix is. We get overtaken by Bottas there around the outside. And I think now my tyres are starting to go off a little bit. I'm not too sure what's going on. It looks like the rear tyres are actually a little bit cold now. So I really don't get it, because I'm on the wet tyres. I can't, the car should be suited to these conditions, but clearly it's not. We lock up coming into turn 4, and I've just got no control over the car at the moment. I'm just getting wheel spin everywhere. I'm locking up at a lot of places. It's just an absolute nightmare at the moment, and I'm now starting to lose about a second to maybe 2 seconds a lap to the AI. And at this stage, I'm just fed up. I'm coming in for a new set of tyres. I'm hoping that the new tyres will give me a benefit here because I'm absolutely struggling at the moment. The tyres just aren't working at the moment. So, fingers crossed, come in for a new set of wet tyres. It should be able to work. We've lost a lot of runners in this Grand Prix. We're now down to 14. So, I'm not the only one who's struggling. Gradually, over the course of this race, people have been crashing or retiring, having their own set of issues. And we're just trying to stay in this race as much as we can. If we finish the race, then chances are we should be able to get some points with the current retirement rate. We're only halfway through this race, and there's 14 cars left. And these conditions, I can't stress it enough. It's absolutely dreadful at the moment. I've never struggled so much in these wet races this season. Hungary and Germany were really bad, but this is something else. There you can see on lap 39, Maldonado has beached it in the wall. He's completely lost his wheel, part of his front wing, and that's just down to the conditions. It's so slippery at the moment, and now we have a safety car here on lap 39. This will save us a little bit. I might think about coming in for a new set of wet tyres for the lols, maybe? I don't know, because at the moment I'm still struggling on this current set, but I may as well stay out. I might run out of wet tyres if I pin in for a new set, but either way, we're getting ready for a restart here on lap 41. We actually lost like 20 or 30 seconds to button over the last few stints, so to have a safety car has brought us right back in the game again, and now we can start attacking cars in front of us. I believe we've got some lap cars to contend with, some of the Marussias and Caterhams. We've got Hulkenberg going slowly through turn 4. We passed Satil, can we? Up the inside into this hairpin, job done into P6, so we're pretty much back in the game now. So I think the track conditions are slowly starting to ease up. The rain has lightened up. You actually can't see the rain anymore, so I believe the engineer about now was telling me as we get another safety car, our teammate Daniel Kvyat has beached it in the wall again, just like Maldonado did. So the conditions, I just can't stress this enough, are so bad right now. I'm just locking up everywhere. So is the AI, clearly. So, yeah, just absolutely crazy stuff. Despite the track getting a little bit faster and a little bit more grippy with the rain starting to ease up, it's still very treacherous around here, especially with the walls so close to us. But anyway, we're getting ready for a restart now. I'm thinking about going to intermediate tyres very soon because the track is starting to form a little bit of a dry line, and the rain, as I said, it stopped. So I'm thinking about coming in for a set of inters if the AI come in. I want to play it safe from now on. I've already gone pretty adventurous with the strategy, and that hasn't played out very well. So from this stage onwards, I'm just going to play it safe, try and score as many points as I can. My wet tyres are starting to go off now. I've had them on for about almost 20 laps now, and I think on lap 45 I might be coming for a set of inters because I've seen in the corner of my eye, I saw some of the leaders were coming in for a pit stop, and I can only assume they're coming in for a set of inters. So fingers crossed we can take the set of intermediate tyres to the finish here, presuming that the track conditions stay as they are. So how's the pit stop? Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a slow one here from Toro Rosso. I chipped off a bit of my front wing over the course of that stint. I missed it in editing the video, but lap 51, the conditions are now starting to improve once again. I was going to harp on this before, but when the track condition dries out and starts to, really start to form a dry line, it's only a matter of time before we have to come in for a set of dry tyres. And here we go. This should be a quick 8 or 9 lap sprint to the end on a set of super soft tyres. I believe at the start of the race we only did about 7 or 8 laps, and they were really starting to go off then. So it's going to be interesting to see how the tyre wear holds out as we get held up by who was a Bottas making his stop. The track is almost going to reset to a green sort of stage. It's not going to be that grippy, but either way, I've now got the confidence back in the car after driving in almost treacherous conditions for almost 2 hours. I've really got some confidence now, and I'm going to start to really push and try and catch some of the leaders here. We're now within the DRS range of Sergio Perez. Use up all the curves, the slipstream, fast revs, and we'll try and swoop around the outside into the middle sector now. Job done. Next up is Alonso and Jenson Button, but I was pushing so much. I was setting purple lap times lap after lap, but it just, unfortunately, it wasn't enough. They were about 5 or 6 seconds up the road, and then eventually the tyre wear started to kick in from about lap 57 onwards. So from then on, I really couldn't do much. I was pretty fast. I was fairly consistent in dry conditions, but really the wet weather was just too much, and Jenson Button was too consistent over the course of the race. We come across the line in 4th place and a very solid 12 points.
Congratulations, that's a well-deserved 4th.
Alright, so there we go. 4th place in the Singapore Grand Prix. Considering it was raining for so much of that race, we actually finished in front of Rosberg, who didn't finish. So there we go. We've got a massive free kick in the championship. That's 12 points to us. We should have a fairly sizable lead over Rosberg in the championship. That's going to do us a world of good as we head into some of the future races in this championship. Tyre wear, as always, I think it's going to be the deciding factor in this championship. My Toro Rosso is fairly quick, but races sometimes can be a little bit of struggle if the tyre wear isn't quite there. And as you can see, 19-point lead over Rosberg in the standings. Lewis Hamilton 43 points behind, and Jenson Button just sneakily sneaking towards us in the driver's standings. He might buy a ticket into this championship fight in a few races' time. But either way, that's been the Singapore Grand Prix for today. As always, if you have any questions for my Q&A, then leave them in the comment section below. I'll try and answer as many as I can. I really want to make it a long Q&A video just to try and address all of you guys' questions. I've really appreciated the support you guys have been giving me on the channel in the last few months. It's been absolutely crazy. The build-up to F1 2014 has been absolutely mental, and I'm really looking forward to that game. But either way, that's been this video for today. Until my next one, I'll see you guys next time.